April from April's Home, and today I'm here with a book haul. I've purchased quite a few books so far this year, so I thought I would go ahead and share some of the books that I have purchased this year, as well as the book that I'm currently reading and some of the books that I'm planning to read coming up here this month. So the first books that I'd like to go ahead and start with are books that I ordered from a book party. I think it's pronounced Usborne or Usborne or something like that. One of my friends with young children had a party to sell these books. They had so many really beautiful books to choose from that I had a lot of fun picking some out. The first book that I picked out is the Usborne Big Book of Colors. This is such a pretty book. It has a lot of like hardcover. It's a hardcover book with a lot of beautiful, like very sturdy pages here. The pages are very sturdy, like a thick paperboard of some sort. And you can see just the beautiful colors. I love colors and working with art, and I thought that this book would be a really nice book for that purpose. There are just so many beautiful colors represented in here and fun pictures. It has a color wheel inside this book and just some other beautiful, just beautiful illustrations and lots of colors. Great for inspiration and thinking about colors, but also wonderful for my niece and nephews to look at when they come over. I have a pretty good sized children's library that they love looking through, and this will definitely go on the shelf with my children's books. So I just thought that this was a really fun book. I definitely couldn't pass this up. Again, I love colors and art and things like that, so I thought this would be perfect for my book collection. Then I also couldn't resist a bunch of their dollhouse sticker books. I enjoy stickers very much. I collect stickers, and I thought that these would be a really pleasant activity, sort of along the lines of the coloring books and adult dot-to-dot books and paint by sticker books that I'm interested in trying out as well. But I also just love a classic sticker book, and these are a little bit more, I think that these would be good for both adults and children. Again, the illustrations are really pretty, lots of space to work with, a really big book, and then a ton of stickers as well, just a bunch to work with. I also love doll houses and miniatures and things like that, so I thought that this would just be right up my alley, and I got a bunch of different themes of doll houses. I got the standard dollhouse sticker book, the Grand Hotel sticker book that I thought would be really fun as well. You can see some of the images in here, just really fun, cool images of a grand hotel. Then the dollhouse sticker book Country House, so a little bit different type of a house. These all look like historical time period type of houses and furnitures and clothing and things that you can put inside. And then this one is the Royal Dollhouse sticker book. Again, different kinds of royal furniture and how you might decorate the royal house here. So just a beautiful, fun book. I'm so excited to work with these. And then lastly, the Victorian Dollhouse sticker book. So a Victorian style dollhouse. And I'm just so excited to play around with these, check out all the different stickers. I also think that these would be fun if my niece comes over and she's bored. She could perhaps work a little bit on these as well. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to these. So a bunch of dollhouse sticker books, sort of a fun, just a fun whimsical purchase. And then a couple of books for my reference library. I love to have good reference books on hand. I really prefer books written for children and students, because a lot of times I just want a little bit of knowledge in sort of a nutshell. And these sort of books are perfect for that. This is the Usborne Geography Encyclopedia with a complete world atlas. This book also comes with internet links and things like that. So just a bunch of very interesting things about places all around the world, full of maps and a lot of interesting things like that. Both me and my husband enjoy reading material like this. If it's a cold, rainy day, it's just so fun to page through a book like this and learn something new, as well as have it for a reference book should you need to look up something about a particular country that you're reading about or learning about or you hear about on TV. So I thought I'd pick this one up for our reference library. And then another one for our reference library here is a big, heavy book here. This is the Usborne Science Encyclopedia. I also have the History Encyclopedia that I just love, so I thought it would be perfect to get the science one to go along with the history one. Again, the pictures in here are just wonderful. So many different subjects that you can read about. Just a lot of good basic science here. Again, lots of just information that you could quickly look up if you needed to learn something basic about a science category. So again, another great book for my reference library, the Usborne Science Encyclopedia. I'm super excited to take a look through this as well. So those were my purchases from the book party. I also made a purchase online from the book outlet. They have so many great books on discount. A lot of times I'll just place orders for books that just strike me as interesting. A lot of times I'll stock up on books by a new author that I'd like to check out. I love checking that out at a discount price. It's just a fun way to find different books that you love and add to your library. So the first book I purchased there was Peterson's First Guide to Rocks and Minerals. I actually collect rocks and minerals and love learning about new ones. I plan on attending a bunch of rock and mineral shows this year to kind of build my collection a little bit. So I thought it would be a good idea to pick up a little guide to go along with me when I go out and about looking for different rocks and minerals to add to my collection. I also got a bunch of books by the author Polly Horvath. I have never read anything by her before, but all of the books sounded so interesting. I love reading juvenile fiction. It's one of my favorite genres of books to read. Not quite young adult, but a little bit more sweet and young than that. The juvenile fiction is just one of my favorites to read. I studied children's literature in college a little bit and have always really loved juvenile fiction. This one here won the Newbery Honor Medal here. So this one is called Everything on a Waffle. This is about this girl's parents being lost in a storm at sea, and she is trying to convince other people to go out and search for them. Apparently it is thought that they are lost, and she's convinced they're not. So this looked like a really fun read. And then also this one, also by Polly Horvath, called The Vacation. And this is about a girl whose parents decide to be African missionaries. So I thought that that would also be an interesting one to read. And this one is also from Polly Horvath. I got a bunch of books from Polly Horvath. This one here is called Trolls, also by Polly Horvath. This is about Aunt Sally, who comes to watch a bunch of her nieces and nephews all the way from Vancouver Island in Canada. And she likes to tell a bunch of tales from her adventures along with their father's adventures. So I thought that this also seemed like a fun one. And you'll have to excuse the hailing noise in the background. We are having a very stormy day. We woke up to a snowy day, and now we're having a bit of a hailstorm. So if you hear that in the background, that's what that is. We're just having a bit of a hailstorm. The next book, also by Polly Horvath, and also a National Book Award winner, is The Canning Season, which also looked really interesting. This also is about growing up on Vancouver Island, so that just also sounded really interesting to me. So The Canning Season. And then this one, also by Horvath, is 1 Year in Cole Harbor. This is a companion book to the book Everything on a Waffle, and continues to follow the tales of the main character in Everything on a Waffle. So really, I'm just going to get a good idea about this author. It'll be really interesting to read a bunch of her different books and check them out. This one looked so cute. This is Lord and Lady Bunny, Almost Royalty by Mr. and Mrs. Bunny. Also, it says here, translated from The Rabbit by Polly Horvath. So another one by Polly Horvath. So Mr. and Mrs. Bunny just look like a bunch of fun characters to read about. Again, I really enjoy juvenile fiction, and this just looks like a fun tale. And then another one here about Mr. and Mrs. Bunny. This one is called Detectives Extraordinaire. I love detective novels and cozy mysteries in the adult category as well as in juvenile fiction category. So I thought that this would be very fun to read, sort of a juvenile fiction detective novel here. This also won the Parents' Choice Gold Award from the Parents' Choice Foundation. This one is also written by Polly Horvath and is Mr. and Mrs. Bunny, Detectives Extraordinaire. So a bunch of fun juvenile fiction here, as well as a couple more in that category. This one is called Anyone But Ivy Pocket by Caleb Crisp. This one says, meet the girl everyone's trying to avoid. Poor Ivy Pocket, not only is she an orphan and all alone in the big wide world, but she's also a walking disaster who causes mayhem, misunderstandings, and mischief wherever she goes. So knowing this about Ivy Pocket, would you ask her to deliver a totally priceless, incredibly beautiful, and possibly cursed diamond necklace to Matilda Butterfield in time for her 12th birthday ball? No, you would ask absolutely anyone but Ivy Pocket, it says. Alas, that is not what happens in this book. So, sounds like a fun adventure, sort of in the vein, perhaps, of Amelia Bedelia, but a little bit bigger of a juvenile fiction novel here. It says that Ivy Pocket may be a 12-year-old maid of no importance, but she's also a spectacular person in every possible way. Just ask her. So it just looks like a fun book. I loved the cover. I thought it just looked like a fun and whimsical tale and a lot of fun to read. And then I haven't started this series yet, but I thought that I would pick up the next book in my series. This is the Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place series. I had books 1 through 4 that I previously bought at the book closeouts and thought that I'd pick up 5 while it was also on closeout. This one is called The Unmapped Sea, and this is another series that I'm also really interested in reading as well this year. So those are all of my children's juvenile fiction books that I picked out at book closeouts. And I also have placed a few book orders from Amazon. This book here is The Little Book of Hygge, and this is The Danish Secret to Happy Living. This is a book that I've heard a ton about, so I definitely wanted to give a read. I will be doing a review of this Little Book of Hygge later on this month and talk a little bit about Hygge and how I might add some touches of Hygge to my home. So The Little Book of Hygge is one I'll be reading. A show that I have absolutely been loving on Amazon Prime is Ronja the Robber's Daughter. This is written by Astrid Lindgren, who also wrote Pippi Longstocking, which is one of my favorite books from childhood. I have really been enjoying the show, so I definitely wanted to read the book as well, and this is another book that I'll be doing a review of this month. I'll be doing a review of both this book and the show on Amazon Prime, Ronja and the Robber's Daughter. So definitely look forward to hearing more about that. And then I thought that I would order a classic for my library. This is The Lady of the Lake by Sir Walter Scott. This is something that I've wanted to read for quite some time now, so I thought that I'd pick up a copy to read either this month or next month. So The Lady of the Lake by Sir Walter Scott. And then I thought that I would pick out a mystery for the month of March here for St. Patrick's Day. This is a Lucy Stone mystery called St. Patrick's Day Murder by Leslie Meyer. Leslie Meyer is a good cozy mystery writer, so I'm excited to read a little cozy mystery sometime here in the week of St. Patrick's Day. This is a book that I heard about during Super Bowl Sunday. It is going to be a new show on Hulu called The Handmaid's Tale, and this is by Margaret Atwood. So I thought that I would go ahead and read this book before I watch it on Hulu. Again, this is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It just looks like a really interesting show. This looks like an interesting dystopian novel that will be fun to read. I really enjoy dystopian novels, and so I'm looking forward to reading The Handmaid's Tale before I watch the show on Hulu. So that's another one I'll be reading. And then a couple of fun new coloring books that I also picked up from Amazon. This is the Tokidoki coloring book. If you watch my channel, you know that I absolutely love collecting Tokidoki items, and I think that this coloring book is just so cute. Just lots of cute Tokidoki images to color, and I think that this coloring book will be really fun to work with. I think that the little Tokidoki characters are so cute, so I definitely thought that this would be a fun one to have. And then another fun coloring book that I purchased earlier this year is Star Trek The Next Generation coloring book. I would still like to purchase the original Star Trek book, but I had to start with Star Trek The Next Generation because that's actually my favorite Star Trek series that I grew up watching and absolutely loved during high school. So I thought that this would also be a really fun coloring book to have. Lots of Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation pictures. So those are my coloring books for the first quarter of this year. And then what I'm currently reading is by Richard Adams. This is Watership Down. This is a classic novel, and I had never read it before, so I definitely wanted to. I've always heard good things about this. And so far, it's really, really interesting. This story is about an adventure of a group of rabbits who are sort of escaping one area to find a safe place. I'm only about a third of the way through, but I'm really enjoying it and hope to finish this up this month. This is definitely an enjoyable classic, and I would definitely recommend this, Watership Down, and I hope to update you on what I thought of this book when I'm all done reading it at the end of the month. So that's what I'm currently reading, Watership Down, and I'll also be reading my book on Hygge, Ronja the Robber's Daughter, and St. Patrick's Day Murder this month, as well as a few others of my juvenile fiction books, and perhaps starting The Handmaid's Tale as well. Again, I'll let you know what I think of all the books that I've been reading. I've really been enjoying reading more this year and hope to do more book reviews and things like that on this channel. So that's my book haul for the first part of this year. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at all the books that I picked out. A lot of interesting ones from book closeouts, as well as the Usborne book party that I went to, and a bunch of fun choices from Amazon as well. I'm really looking forward to doing a bunch of reading this month. We have a lot of rainy days, a lot of hail, as you might have heard earlier in the video, and still snow on the ground, so perfect weather for just staying indoors with a good book and a cup of coffee and enjoying a bunch of reading. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at all of these book selections. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe for more videos from April's Home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye!